I got a lot of feedback throughout the process of making my short film and poster. Getting feedback was hugely important as I was able to allow opinions from my target audience to influence my products. The focus group gave me many ideas that I could use alongside my own to create a film that is more suited to my target audience. However, I did not want to change everything that was suggested to me. For example, members of my target audience suggested that I change the flashback sequence in the middle when the protagonist falls over and experiences flashbacks.
When I fall over and it goes all blurry and Jacob's walking towards it, you cut back to
you walking past it.
Yeah, walking past it. I think it works well, but at the same time I like the mystery behind who is this character.
Yeah.
This was my favourite section of the whole short film, as I used various editing techniques, including overlapping the layers of sound, applying filters, and altering the speed of the shots. Despite how members of my target audience suggested I change this, I asked one of my teachers who recommended I keep it, so I did. Arguably, the most helpful feedback I received was the suggestion to change the end sequence. This was in response to seeing the shot of my character chasing the car. This looked extremely ineffective as the car was not going at a high enough speed, and it looked extremely unrealistic, as the antagonist could have easily caught up to it. I ended up changing the entire ending as well as the title shot. I was told that in my first edit my title was far too late, it should either be right at the beginning or at the end, so by editing the last scene I was able to amend this too. This was also significant as a member of my target audience suggested I change the font of the title. However, the same font on my poster was very popular. As a result of this, I decided to change the font of my title but keep the font on the poster the same, as the font on the poster was much more bold and noticeable, meaning it was more effective. A lot of the feedback from the focus group were good suggestions, but things that I could not change in the time frame. For example, all of my focus group suggested I could add more background information about the two characters. Although I would have liked to implement this, I was unable as I had to keep the film below 5 minutes. When creating my short film, I wanted there to be no context behind the characters, especially behind the antagonist. The whole point about the antagonist was that there was no reason for him to kidnap the protagonist, and I wanted to use the flashback scenes to show that the only interaction between them was not confrontational, and that no rational person would have reacted in the same way as the antagonist did. When conducting my focus group, I wanted to find out the most popular parts of my film. This was so I could know which areas I should definitely not change when making adjustments or total rearrangements when editing. To my surprise, my use of music was very popular with my target audience, and one of the members actually compared it to the score in Inception.
Getting chased, where the sun picks up, it's like the Inception music.
Can you give an example?
Like that.
Which is one of the inspirations behind the music in my short film. Audience feedback was not just important for improving my short film, I also used it to decide which design I would use for my poster. To do this, I created 3 very rough and quick sketches of the poster designs I had in my head. I then asked various members of my target audience to choose their favourites and which stood out most. I heavily based my final product off of this research. The main reasoning behind their decision was because the poster looked the most organised and clearly laid out. As a result of this, I used an extremely similar design when editing my final poster. Despite this, I did make some minor changes, such as placing the actors' names at the top of the poster and using the Empire logo in a quote from my film review rather than the star ratings. Although I did not use much audience feedback when creating the film review, I wanted to get second opinions on my choice of fonts, as I was unsure of the font type as well as the sizing. After asking multiple people, I eventually ended up changing the main font type to Times New Roman. This helped as I would not have thought about using this font prior to asking for other opinions, and therefore I would have chosen the wrong font.